Good afternoon. I'm delighted you've joined me. Look, I sounded like a drunk there. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me. I'm delighted you're with me today. I was going to say on this glorious day, but it is a glorious day. It's a glorious day every day here in Marbella. And that's the point of this whole thing about Marbella. I've lived here for many, many a years, and I've always found that living here, there's something, it's a magical place to live. I'll tell you that straight away. It's a very peaceful place to live. And that's the subject I'm about to get on to right now. I wrote about this last night, but I needed to share it with you how I really felt about it. Now, before I left to go to a memorial, it wasn't a service really, it was in memory of Rafi Cohen. Raphael Cohen, he was the president of the Jewish community in Marbella. This is not a Jewish broadcast, by the way. It's not a religious one either in any way whatsoever. But Rafi died the other day, and there was a sort of, he was so well known. He wasn't just the president of the Jewish community. I had to make some notes here. He was also the honorary consul for Israel in Andalusia, the Canary Isles, Ceuta, and Melilla. A Knight of the Order of the Throne of King Mohammed VI of Morocco. A Jewish guy, and there he is, the King of Morocco awarded him the Knight of the Order of the Throne. And that sort of sums up Rafi. Rafi was one of these people who could draw in all sides. Marbella is of course, Marbella is very transient society, coming and going, but it's a very peaceful society. And the Jew, the Muslim, the Christian, we're all as one down here, and always have been. But what was interesting, since the war in Israel, here, now I've been watching, we all watch the news, the demonstrations, well, I was in Dublin just after Christmas, and I was walking down just the end of Grafton Street to Trinity College, and there's a huge pro-Palestinian parade going by. But these parades in America have turned violent. They're all over Europe. In Paris, too, turned violent. I watched last night, before I left to go to this memorial, I watched in Washington. I've never seen such violence. Burning the American flag. If these people hate America so much, why don't the American government throw them out? I have an idea. Get a plane to Rwanda and put them on that. If they're so pro-Hamas, send them out there and let them fight alongside them. But this hatred and spreading hatred towards Jews? Hey, I'm a Jew. I'm from Dublin. Nothing to do with the war in Israel. Never had. Do I like the Prime Minister? Well, do you like the Prime Minister of England? Not many of you liked Boris Johnson. He was there, did you? Every time there's a Prime Minister, you'll get a 50-50 split on it. So Netanyahu, no matter who the Prime Minister is, they'll always have their distractors. And I'm not going to get into a political broadcast now. But what I really want to put across is what happened last night in Marbella. We were called on all of us, to come, and there's going to be a memorial for Rafi Cohen. It was a great shock that he died, although he was a good age and he wasn't very well. So it was expected, it wasn't a shock. Anyway, I got down to the synagogue and they'd laid out the garden with hundreds of chairs. And then I saw the guests arriving. The mayor of Marbella, the mayor of Malaga, the chief of police, the imam from the mosque in Marbella in his full regalia with his son. Many politicians, not Jewish at all. Jews, of course, the Rabbi Mendy was there. The Ohayon family were there. It was a befitting memorial to the lovely Rafi Cohen. But what got me is when the speeches were being made by the mayor, as I said, of Marbella, Angela Munoz, but the mayor of Malaga. And when the imam from the mosque got up to speak and the Israeli flag is flying there near him, my mind is going to Washington and all the hatred. My mind's going to Paris, to London, to Birmingham, the hatred the hatred, the hatred. Isn't it time that these demonstrations are made illegal? Don't go on with this bullshit all the time to say free speech. I would rename that abused speech. Abused speech. If you have the privilege to live in a country, and there's not many that are, in a country that allows free speech. You try it in some of these countries in Africa, I'll give you free speech with a bullet. Well, if you have the privilege, respect it. Don't use it and abuse it to spread hatred. Did you see what's going on in Washington? Burning the American flag, I thought that was against the law. I thought you pledged allegiance to the flag, like in all countries. I thought you did. Doesn't seem so to me. You can burn it. Raising and wearing those Hamas green bands, what message are you giving to the terrorists? You might as well wear swastikas. Did that happen during the Second World War? I don't think so. It must be banned. You cannot go around wearing the uniform of terrorists. You cannot. Now, I say stop all this marching, including the protests for Israel, protests for Gaza, protests for Ukraine. We must remember in Ukraine, people are being slaughtered in Ukraine. Oh, we forgot about that. They always say because there's no Jews involved. Now, I'm not here talking as a Jew. I'm talking as a human being. This hatred must stop. And unless it stops, we're going to be infiltrated by terror for the rest of our lives and our children's lives. Now, that's just me getting this off my chest. It's not a long one, as you see, but I'm glad you join me because the spread of hatred is something that has to be stopped. And the only people who can stop it, we're not going to stop the war. That's another thing. But we can stop the spread of hatred by making it illegal. I always thought it was. I thought you weren't allowed to use hatred. If I go down to Port Banús tonight with a megaphone and say, throw all the blacks out of Andalusia, or throw all the Christians out of Andalusia, or throw all the Muslims out of Andalusia, or throw all the Jews out of Andalusia, I'd be arrested in 5 minutes. I'm sure of it. That's free speech, isn't it? Abusive speech. The abuse of speech. Stop it. It's the cause of everything now, of havoc, and using religion as an excuse. It's just terrible. I wish the world could look on last night of Marbella in the gardens of the synagogue and see the different heads of different religions showing love and respect for each other. It was phenomenal. May Rafi Cohen's soul rest in peace, and may peace be the key word.